Hey, this is Carla Michelle, and we're here with the Strong Women's Network, and this is part two. I have of part two of the Mother's Day series where I am talking to my children. Yes, I have four children. If you did not catch the first part, we spoke with Joelle, and this is Justice, the second child and the oldest son. So this is just a real exciting time to hear what they have to say this Mother's Day and what how it feels to have me as their mom. And I'm going to ask them a couple of questions, and they're going to bust out with their insight and their revelation of life. So I am happy to introduce Justice Roosevelt Carl. That they all have three.
Whoa.
Yes. Okay, we'll back that up. We won't let them know who you are, Justice.
Nah, we ain't doing all the government stuff.
All right. Well, this is Justice. He is 24 years old, and he is just a well. I love my kids, and all of them are just truly amazing. So when I say it, I know that I say it to all of them. Justice, you're amazing. You're a smart and grown up to be such an intelligent young man. So it's such an honor to have you here on the podcast. I know you're a busy man. So, do you want to say anything before we get started?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to come onto your platform and, just be here. And I'd like to just say you're an awesome mom. Happy Mother's Day in advance. I already know what you about to be on, but I will be coming by and, maybe dropping off something. Just telling you now. If you
Whatever.
want us to do another podcast on something else, but we'll just keep it
Yeah,
PG.
oh my
Uh,
gosh. Anyway, go ahead.
okay.
Okay, there.
But yeah.
Thank you, son. I'm glad you're here. Um, oh wow. Okay, so you're 24. You are out of or don't live at home. You live with your dad since what you were 13, and then you moved out recently. Anything else you want to tell us about yourself?
13. I don't. Yeah, was that
I
was
mean,
I thought I moved that ninth grade. I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter,
oh,
right?
that was Justice at
Uh,
Joshua at 13. Okay, okay,
yeah.
good.
I've been living with dad since like sophomore maybe.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, there's nothing really else
Yeah. Okay.
about that
All
part.
right. Well, no, any part. I just said that, but you can say anything that
Uh,
you want to just say before I start asking questions, or do you just want the questions?
yeah, whatever. Let's do it.
Okay. All
Let's
right.
do it.
Number one, how has it been having me for a mom?
Having you as a mom. You want the bad or the good
You could
first?
do the bad, the good, the ugly, the nice. No,
Nah,
you could do anything you
nah.
want.
You are a great mom. You know, you had a lot on your plate, and I think any mom who has a lot on their plate, they value their kids' relationship the most, especially when it's like just them and like maybe the dad is around or vice versa, maybe the mom is around. So you did very well. I wouldn't say there's any bad because I think we learned so much from each other.
Hmm.
And just me being your oldest son, I feel like you also let a little bit of anger out on me. So you were able to like, we just kind of bounced off each other. And like I think that's what makes our relationship so precious because, I've been there through a lot of that growth that, you had and then you're there for my growth. So it's just like it's a beautiful thing, honestly.
Yeah, and thank you. And it's true. We did have a lot of growth, and there was that frustration of you growing up, into a man, and me being that mom in my home of trying, listen, and you
Yeah.
wanting you rising up and really seeing yourself, with the input into how things happened and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, you did see some sides of me that probably nobody would ever imagine. Uh, but yeah, there is.
But I don't see it. I see it as like it was everything was worth it. I think just it may be that things needed to happen. I mean, not saying nothing crazy happened. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, we argue just like any mom and son,
Yeah.
but it's like it's important. That's important because it sometimes arguments bring people closer.
Yeah.
And I know for me as a son, I think seeing you care enough to, like, let me talk and then you arguing, it just made me feel like you valued it rather than you just said, I'm the mom,
Mm.
you listen to me. So like that's one thing that I think I'm gonna practice with my kids, just letting them talk and sometimes breaking it down for them even if they get frustrated.
Yeah, and I'm sure, I got frustrated growing up, and so I didn't feel heard growing up. I
Yeah,
always felt like if
exactly.
I had something to say at the time, we get popped in the mouth. That wasn't anything wrong with
Exactly.
it. So,
But there was a certain level of you had boundaries, like we had boundaries, of course,
yes.
and I needed to follow, respecting you, but you still allowed me to say what I needed to say.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's very important, especially for any mother that's listening and has like a 14, 15-year-old son who is on their phone, every day, doesn't even speak to him.
Mm,
It's just because you're not letting them talk. You trying to get them to talk when you want them to talk, but when they want to talk, you're not really like wanting to hear it.
mm.
You know what I'm
That-
saying? Like it's just
That's
I
real.
feel like that's like
That's real.
yeah.
And I'm glad that you do appreciate that and the times that we did, mom and son interventions. I will never forget coming up to the school. You remember me coming up to, well, was it summer school?
Oh yeah.
And I had
I don't know.
hair color.
You've been to the school. You've been to school a lot.
Oh, not in a bad way. Have I? Oh, yeah, I did. Cause
Yeah, you was at the school all the time for
I
me.
was. Cause
So it ain't no.
yeah, you had a mouth on you. I had to come sit in your
Yeah,
class a couple of times. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and I'll never
yeah,
forget in high school in Spanish when the
yeah.
Spanish teacher asked you, what did you want to be?
Did she want to talk to you because of that?
No, did you get kicked
I didn't get in
out?
trouble. Nah, I didn't
Then
get in
how did,
trouble. She
oh,
just,
your sister was in class with you.
yeah,
I
exactly.
love that story. Can I tell that story?
Yeah, you could tell it.
So Justice is in class and it's the first, I'm assuming the first day. So
First day.
she's going around and she asked, she's taking roll and asking those, if you have another name that you would prefer to be addressed by. So she goes around and gets to Justice and Justice Tucker, and I guess what did you say here?
Yeah,
And she said, "Do you have another name you like to use?" And what did you say?
Poppy.
No, you said, "Call me Poppy."
Oh, I said call me Poppy.
Yes,
I did.
yes.
But I mean, like she set herself up for that one. It's a Spanish class. It's like 1 + 1 = 2. And then you got somebody like me. I just be thinking outside the box. Everybody was, how I don't know. I just look at things differently, and I was just like,
Yeah.
I could get a laugh out of this, and I could also hit on my teacher because that's like the thing to do, in case you need an A. But it didn't
Oh
work.
my God.
Backfired.
I know it didn't at all. But I think that's the son that I had the opportunity of walking the journey of high school with. But once again, just this a kindest heart. You're so kind because was we discussed one time with your fiance, was you inviting the school bus load of kids over for dinner,
Oh
telling
yeah,
them I cooked. And is this like you are still that? I guess it makes sense on how you're doing what you do today or what the jobs that you've held, like,
yeah,
and you're just a people person.
yeah,
That's you, whether you're being humorous and you really mean no harm. You're just funny. At the
yeah.
time I didn't think you were funny, but you're
Well, thank you for the kind words. I think that was my deeper intention was I wanted to make people laugh.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it wasn't just because I wanted to get a kick out of it. I just wanted the girls to laugh, mostly the guys to laugh, just to be like that was hilarious. I
Mhm.
didn't want it to be like I wasn't serious. You know what I mean? I was just doing it for laughs,
Mhm.
and I guess yeah, it backfired.
Yeah, a lot.
And they still laugh. They still laugh,
But you
but
got,
it was just
yeah, it didn't go well with the
yeah.
adults in the room.
Yeah,
That's true.
exactly.
Having me as a mom wasn't too bad then.
Oh, not at all.
Aw,
Both of my
I tell you
parents are
later.
just great, great people, great, great, great individuals,
Yeah.
character and everything.
Oh, you're so nice. I want to mention, you guys, while we're recording here, my son is what are you playing?
No, I'm not playing.
Oh, you're not. You're okay. I wanted to make sure. I want.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I'm talking to
No, thank you, son. I thought you were going to be playing your game.
you.
So when you think about, um, what would you tell someone your age? You're 25. Um, you went. Your parents divorced. Um, the things you went through. You know what I have to mention is your senior year. Was it your end of your junior year or your senior year?
When you guys divorced?
No, no, no. I'm sorry. When I went to the school and you had to change your mind, when you just decided,
Oh,
was that your June end of your junior year?
wait, you talking about like
For
just making the switch?
yeah, when did you make that
The
switch? I want to.
That was after high school.
Well, I remember going because we had many meetings with your counselor. Uh, there was one time when you really committed to doing your schoolwork.
Yeah, well, it was because I almost didn't graduate. So,
Yeah, but you made a
yeah.
switch. You switched it up. You
Yeah, I
focused.
started. Well, I mean, I had to. I mean, it was honestly, if I didn't try, I wouldn't be here where I am right now. I would not have graduated, you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
So it was just me realizing I needed to graduate, and I just did what I had to do,
Mm.
just did what I had to do, and that was my mindset. It wasn't like a switch because the switch really didn't happen till I was going to college. But
What made
yeah.
that switch come on?
Uh, Honestly, I would just say me just talking to God and just trying to figure out, God, why is this and that and that? And I just really just, I think I manifested it without even knowing. I just I just saw things that I wanted to be. I just saw people doing things, and I was always the type of person and still am. I'm the type of person that's like, if I'm sitting here playing a video game of, say it's a basketball video game, I'm like, I can actually go to the gym and really put these moves to work,
Mm.
rather than just sitting on a game.
Mhm.
So I just all of a sudden that mindset just started. It was very, very pure. It was a very pure mindset that just developed into like, what I am now. Is just like if I'm seeing somebody do this or if I'm doing this for hours, I can just really put this time into this.
Mhm.
That's more of what it was.
Okay.
I just had a realization of my time, and what how wasting time does nothing for us.
Mm.
So I think that's what it was. It was just a realization, a revelation, as in, God gave us life and I'm sitting here and I could be doing this and that. And then that's kind of how, things started to turn.
Mm.
But
This
yeah,
I know you've always been the more in tune spiritually. Not that your siblings aren't, but yet you're like just even as a baby, um, raising you as a toddler, you're very, prayer was very important to you. You would tell me to pray. Like, Mom, you didn't pray. You're like 2 years, 3 years old. I don't know. You're still in a crib, being
yeah.
bossy and telling me what to do. But you've always had that really. I see a deep connection. Is that just something you feel you were born with?
Oh, I always ask myself that. I really don't know.
Mm,
I really have not found out why.
mhm,
I just think it's somebody talking to me, honestly. Like, I think God has really put some type of like ingredient in me that's just able to hear what needs to be heard
mhm.
and needs to be and see what needs to be done. And I'm not perfect, but sometimes I just feel like I have like I don't even know how to like something that just always keeps me on rhythm, like always on beat. Like I'm able
Good.
just to know what to say and what I need to be doing, and then if I don't know, I'll see signs of it, and I think that's kind of what why because I mean when I was younger, I mean you probably know more than me, like how I really was as a kid and what you said I was praying. I don't remember any of that stuff as a baby,
Mhm.
so it's like my only thought process is like it's just something in me.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I
And
think
you,
we all have it.
yeah, and we all do. I think some of us uses it more than others.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then some of us are more in tune because we use it more than
Yeah.
others. So, and I believe that's what happens with you because
Yeah.
I think you're quick to, you know, tap into what is God saying, or I talk, God is, I believe this is what I'm supposed to be doing, based on your
Yeah.
relationship and the intel that you get
Mhm. Mhm.
from God. So,
Yeah.
all right.
But
So,
I call it an ingredient because God could send you messages, but for it to like make you feel a certain way, I feel like that's a different type of thing. You get what I'm saying? Like
mm,
God could send the right people. God's giving us everything we need. You know, we have a roof over our head, clothes over our body, but we always want more. So like, how can you take that what He's given you and put that together with something you already have in you and make that into your better self or like who you want to be? You
mm,
know what I'm saying? Because that's why I said it's an ingredient because it's not necessarily like just that alone. It's that and something else that makes it, for lack of a better word, taste good. Like, it looks
okay.
good. You get what
All
I'm
right.
saying? So
I
I
hear
just
you.
think that everybody has it, but it's just like me. I've recognized that I also have that other ingredient that's like I'm not scared to do it. I'm not scared to listen.
Mm, mm. True. Yeah, because when you decided to go off to college, you went off to
Oh yeah,
college.
and y'all looked at me crazy.
Because how do you go from can't get you to do homework in high school to I'm going to college, and then
Yeah, I
we
know.
packed you up, or you packed yourself up, we drove you out as a family and
Yeah,
dropped you off, and you had that experience, um and you know acclimating yourself to a new environment, and it's
yeah,
different, it's away from your family, it's away from your friends, and having to make new friends, and having to learning how to navigate through loneliness, or
yeah.
not having the California life you're listening to, but looking at. But I know one thing: you were good at coming home, so you knew. I look up
Oh
through
yeah.
the peephole, and I'm like, "How did you get home?" And you were
Oh
good.
yeah.
You knew where you liked home.
I didn't, I mean, I went to college, but I did not like being away from home.
Mm,
And I think a lot of kids could relate to that.
yeah. What was
Like,
hard
we're at the
about
end
it?
of the, it's because at the end of the day, like, we go to college because we know that makes you happy. But a lot of times we don't even want to leave our families, you know? We don't want to
Mm,
leave where we grew up. We don't want to do that. Unless, like, God forbid somebody's household is just like, it's not a good place to be. But a lot of times the parents is just saying we need to do this and that. And the first thing an adult, I can't speak. The first thing an adult asks you is, where are you going to school? What are you doing? Where did you
mm,
graduate? This and that. So it's almost like programming, you know. And the programming is when you graduate high school, you go to college. And I was just doing what everybody else was doing. I was just trying to fit into that freeway.
mm.
So
What changed? What happened for you to see that you didn't want to be programmed anymore,
I
quote
realized
unquote?
my happiness is more important. I see so many people go to school and they complaining, they crying and this and that and that. I'm like, then why are you still going? Like, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Why are you still gonna do it? And
Mm,
I just kept seeing a lot of people complaining and crying and just being like this and that. And then I was even complaining and crying. So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna start whatever I want to do now or do in the future. I'm gonna start now. There's no point in waiting 4 or 5 years because even when you get that degree, that doesn't necessarily solidify you getting that job at the place you want to work. You still gotta go in that door and go get interviewed and stuff like that.
mm,
Like, I just saw it as, I need to make my own opportunity and just rely on my faith, rely on God and just see what can happen. Because I've seen people make it without degrees. A degree is cool. Like, you have a degree, but I think anybody you still did things without a degree that you know, that
yeah.
you never thought you would be able to do. So it's just like I'm just gonna keep pushing and striving and learning, but in my own way. And I think
Mhm.
that's like, I think education never ends after college. So I think my biggest thing was I'm putting this time frame of 4 years or 5 years if I want to get a master's, or even more if I want to get a doctorate. And I'm just putting that time in where I'm gonna be saying to my kids, to my family, or whatever, I got homework. I'm sorry I can't do this. I got homework. I got homework. And I just want to be available, because time is only, it's the most valuable thing.
Mhm.
And I rather spend my time, with people I love and just hanging around them and learning from real life experience. And that's just my personal, everybody's different.
No, that's really good. I'm gonna back up because we could go further with that for the next steps that you took, but I want to back up and take it back to someone like when we talk about a teenager, a young guy that age, and what was the most impacting for you to help you may if something we always have thoughts that stick with us from our childhood and youth that help us propel or excel in the future. Is there anything being raised by your parents that really stuck with you, like you said, I'm not going to be that, or because of that I'm going to be that? And I mean in the sense of helping you have a mindset to think outside the box.
From you guys,
Yeah. Is there anything that
parents.
stands out?
Mm,
Or me, because it is my podcast.
well, I mean, I think, like I
Yeah,
said earlier,
both of us.
yeah, you and dad definitely. I think just to start with dad, I mean, he just his ambition,
Hmm.
even with, his story, like things being turned off and all this and that.
And that's
I
his
mean,
story. So let's let him tell his story.
yeah, but
Yeah.
that's still real. That's
It's
how
real
I
to
was
you.
impacted.
Yeah.
Whether
Yeah.
he tells it or not, I still experienced it, and just seeing like certain conversations he's had with others and just with you and just all this. I take the things that I admire, and I take the things that I don't admire. And that's how kids build themselves, is what they don't like in their parents and what they do like in their
Hmm.
parents.
So true.
It's Yeah, so it's like, from him I just learned how, and I'm very honest on here. I don't know if you had anybody honest on your podcast
Yeah. And I'm not
before, but
editing. So be
uh, uh
sensitive.
yeah, hey, I
It's
mean,
real.
it's real. um I think from dad, what I've learned most is just, I think, just the pureness of love, and just being able to be open and loving to everybody's situation. Because dad, even though dad, a light might be off, but he'll still make sure somebody has, something,
Hmm.
like he'll
Yeah.
still make sure somebody else is good. And I admire that, because it gets us to get out of our struggle or whatever we may think is bad or whatever,
Hmm.
and we just flip it to you know make it
So.
work, and we put it, you know what I mean.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing that I learned from dad. It's just like, you don't go by, because even when we were saying we were sick, he would say, "You're not sick,"
Hmm.
like, just boom, like mindset, all that. So I really admire that. And then I guess in you, I think just I think my biggest thing from you is just like being able to code switch, definitely code switch. Being okay with being me, being
Hmm.
okay with saying no, because you know how to say no. Yeah,
Hmm.
you know how to say no, and I admire that. And I think that's one thing that I learned to do. Just be like, you crazy, no? And then I think that a lot of no's saved my life, and I just didn't even, I'm not even seeing it in the physical, but in the spiritual, it saved my life, like
Hmm.
just being able to say no to the things I shouldn't be around, and
Yeah.
consistently make the right decisions. I think that's what I learned from you. And even just respecting uh the women in my life. I think that's something that a lot of guys, don't know that they have to do consistently, because it's respect your mom, but what about your sister? What about your teacher? Because I think that was the biggest thing I was learning over time, was just respecting the other women in my life, you know? And I
Good.
think you
Yeah.
taught me how to do that. You taught me how to even in the tough times, just still be sweet to me because I'm going through this time, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's something that I mean, really opened my eyes and I really saw.
It's beautiful. That's beautiful. I like that. Um, let's talk about what would you like, um, what would you go back if you could go back? What would you want to improve or change about your childhood? Or do you
Honestly,
accept it?
honestly, nothing. Nothing.
Mm,
Because I
mm,
mean, it would change my whole everything right now. And I'm grateful for where I am. And I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't, honestly. I wouldn't.
good. All
Because
right.
if everything was perfect, it wouldn't be life. You
True.
know, it wouldn't, everything would just be so perfect. I wouldn't be, everything is solid. I wouldn't have to work on anything because I would have fixed something that, I thought would need work. And it just wouldn't be motivation to try to, work on that even more. So I
Hmm.
think I'm honest, I wouldn't change anything.
Nice. Good to know. So, like I asked your sister, was there ever a time you wanted more of a mom instead of a coach, or more of a coach instead of a mom?
Well, I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, I know a lot of times I call you. I mean, look, I know me. I know me. I come to you and you sometimes know I want advice. I think that's why I can only speak for myself, but I know you when we call you, we want you to solve what we're going through. We don't want sometimes we don't just want you to listen. We say,
Mm,
"Mom, what should we do?" So like I don't think you're necessarily coaching. I just think you're being a mom because your instinct is to make sure your kids are good, but you've learned how to you've practiced it, so now you know how to make your words sound good when you answer our questions. So you're applying what you saw in the book because it seems so close to the surface of, anything that we're asking you about.
yeah.
So
Okay.
it's just like it's not necessarily like you need to change. I think it's just like I guess you just it's what you're doing and what you do is so close to what you really do. It's like it's really you. You
Oh,
are a
that's.
coach. You're a mom. I think all moms are coaches at the end of the day. Some
I
just
agree. I
just
agree.
answer things differently. So
Yeah. We're coaching you somewhere,
yeah,
somehow, to
somewhere,
some
somewhere.
destination. It's not
Yeah,
sometimes always the destination, but we're coaching you somewhere.
yeah.
Um, so tell me about what do you want to do? Your impact on the world. You're 24. What's your next steps in life,
Um,
or
I
that you want to share?
I think my biggest thing is I'm not gonna lie and say I know my next 5 year plan because I used to be that way and it's just like when things don't happen on time I start getting a little like upset or whatever for
Yeah.
you know what I mean for no
Oh,
reason.
well, it's her. It's hope
Hello?
in what you want right now. And so I have.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
tell me this. We did not. I want to go back to outside of the box, and maybe that kind of helps a little bit more on your impact not right now. Is you decided
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
stop going to college, and
Mhm.
just tell. Can you share that story, please? All of
Like
it.
what
Just the
about it
whole.
though?
How did you decide not to go to college, and then make the decision, and then have a meeting then have a meeting with your parents that you
Oh
filmed?
my God. You guys will never forgive
Nope.
me for this, huh? Like everybody says the same thing. But nah, honestly, I think the biggest thing was what happened was I went to London, for my birthday and came back and I was just like, I want to be in London. Like I do not want to be here anymore. On my 22nd birthday, it was like I do not want to be at school. I was editing a London video and I was just like, I want to be back in London. I don't know why it hit me so hard, but I was like, I just want to be out of here. I was like, not, I wasn't even paying attention in class. I was just thinking about life like life outside of school. So anyways, I stayed in school for like a couple more months, and I think I had like started a new semester. And I think World Star Hip Hop was about to post me and
Kayla
Kayla.
is your fiance.
And
Now your
yes,
fiance.
my fiance. And then yeah, now my fiance, at the time my girlfriend. And yeah, so like I was in business class, and like I guess the teacher was asking questions and about contracts, and like I guess asked, has anybody ever signed like a contract about stuff about blah 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 blah. I was like, she was asking everybody in the class, and I was like, oh yeah, World Star, this and that, boom boom boom. And the way everybody looked at me, they were looking at me like you were about to be on World Star, like
Mm,
you're about to be on World Star. And I was just like, dang, that's crazy. Like something at that
mm,
moment, I liked that feeling. I was just like, I honestly now like I think what I want to do, or what I'm trying to do on the back end, is gonna have way more impact than this school stuff. Because honestly, everybody's same answer was lame. They're like, nah, never signed a contract with you, blah blah blah. But when I answered, you seen everybody's face. It was like they needed excitement. They needed something fun. They needed something to hear that would spark their attention. And at that moment, I did that, and it just brought to my attention like how much I really will get a kick out of what I really want to do, and how much school is not
mm.
satisfying that feeling.
So what were you
So at
doing?
that
Because
moment,
we
I
skip. I know
remember
what you were doing. I know what you were
I was
doing.
ed.
But what's World Star
Oh my
and
bad.
what were you doing?
I haven't said. Yeah. So basically, Kayla, my fiance and I, we just made like an Instagram video, and it like went viral, and that was like maybe like the second video that went viral, but that was the first video that World Star had posted. So it was just like it. Honestly, I went to school that first day, and everybody at school. I don't even think I told Kayla this. Everybody was at school like, bro, I saw your video. That's crazy. Like, I was like, yeah, they World Stars about to post it. Like, man, that's crazy. That's crazy. And
Mm.
everybody was just like saying the same thing. And then I was just like, I don't know. I feel like a star. Like, I just like
Who
this
wouldn't?
feeling. I mean,
Oh
I'm
Lord.
good looking already. I mean, this is just boosting my confidence. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it was honestly like, it was just something that I
Mm.
guess motivated me. So, yeah, we were doing YouTube as well. So we just like, yeah, this is about to take off our YouTube channel. We about to gain all these subscribers. It was just like all this stuff that was just motivating me to not be in school anymore. So, and then on top of that, I was tired of just working a regular job. I was just tired of certain things, you know. I was just tired of my being regular. I was
I,
tired of
and
that.
I'm gonna put a
I was
pause
tired
right
of
there.
it.
You weren't really regular. You just got back from London. Then you go to
Okay,
Paris
but that's the
or
thing.
where's Spain?
No, yeah, I went to Spain, but it was like, I guess it was just once you touch it, it's like once you
Mm.
go black, you never go back.
Okay.
That's how it felt. like like you know that I honestly I don't
I guess
understand that
not, but I'm
saying,
gonna
but
let you go.
I get what you you get what I'm saying? Like once you go, like it's just like once
Yeah,
you
once you
experience
taste,
that
once
one
you get a
thing,
taste, it's hard to eat
yeah,
something else that's,
yeah, that's
mediocre. Yeah.
yeah. You know my
Yeah, but I got
analogies are
you. I
terrible.
got you. Some
But
of us got it. Trust me.
but like yeah, so it's just like that feeling of just that of hearing, or you know what it was? It was like the feeling of finally being good at something else
Mm.
besides
Because
basketball.
you're six
Or the
four or
feeling
six
of
six.
being,
You're 6'6", and you're known for
yeah,
that.
and
Okay.
being recognized, yeah, and being recognized for something
Mm.
other than
Mhm.
that. That was a good feeling. It
Mhm.
was refreshing. That's what it was. And I was just like, I'm going this way. I don't care if
Mhm.
I never see another dollar, as long as I'm happy
And
because
you
I
quit your
tried.
job.
And I quit my job,
Okay, you
not
quit
that
school
soon.
though,
I just
and you
stopped
then
going
you
to
have.
school. Yeah, I told them I
Oh,
was
okay.
still working. I mean, going to
Well,
school. I told them I was still going to school.
um,
I didn't want them to raise my
tell
eye.
us about the. How did the meeting go? Were you nervous when you actually sat your father and I down and told us? We thought we were making the decision together, but you already had made the decision.
So the thing is, I already made the decision because when y'all gone, and I'm just
Y'all
saying it,
gone
when
like
y'all
dead?
gone,
Oh,
and I'm
okay.
still living up. Yeah, Dad. What? Why am
Ooh.
I living for y'all? I can't. I can't.
Okay.
I can't. Like if you was still living for Grandma
Yeah,
Laura
I
right
can't.
now, your mom,
but
you
but
can't.
I wasn't
You can't.
y'all. Is I got it.
Nah,
It
no
doesn't
but.
matter.
There's no
You're
but.
right.
There's no
You're right.
Yeah, there's no but. That feeling of living for your mom is and dad is frustrating. You don't please them. They're so worried about them. They're not even worried about you. They're just hearing what their friends at work are saying they kids do. They hear this, they see what on Facebook, their friend's kid just graduated. It's never about you and what's best for you. They just want
Mm.
you to be normal. And their normal is go to school, and stay in school, and they want you to live with them until you graduate, and then you leave, they kick you out. And I was like, okay, honestly, like this isn't gonna work. So I just decided to tell y'all that I'm dropping out of school or quitting school, whatever, and just pursuing
Mhm.
what I want to do. And honestly, I was the first kid to do that. And it just happened to be the right time. And I showed you guys what was going on analytics wise. I showed you guys, and you guys were okay with
Mhm.
it. And honestly, I just needed your support. I was still gonna do it. You
Mhm.
guys say yes or no. I just didn't want daddy kick me out. I didn't want you to stop paying the car note.
you
I
had
didn't want
you had investments you had
you
to
know what I
keep
mean?
going, huh?
Yeah, I had to make sure I let my investors know about
Reorg.
that
We're
we're
going
going public.
public. We're going public. Well, you
Yeah.
did.
So, yeah,
Yeah, I know sitting there, it was hard because we are stuck in that traditional go to high school, go to college.
but don't lie, it wasn't hard for you because at the end of the day, you know dang well, exactly, you knew how I felt. I don't know if you cuss on here, so I'm not gonna cuss.
You
But
can.
you knew dang well, you knew how
Yeah,
I
I
felt.
get it, but I still think you want everybody to be traditional in some way. I mean, I went back to school.
Yeah, we
Yeah, I went
always
back to
do.
school because it haunted me to not for me that I didn't finish when I was before I got married.
Yeah.
So that was my
Yeah,
thing.
but see,
Yeah,
that's a deeper
yeah.
issue though. That's
That's
not
not.
just
Yeah.
because of school. That's because you felt like you were missing out on life and you got married to somebody who didn't let you
Well,
finish life,
no,
right?
he would
Like
let
you
me. I
weren't.
just time
Then
kids.
what
I
was it?
I didn't go for it. I didn't think I was good at
Exactly. So it
school.
wasn't
Sure.
exactly. So it wasn't just because you didn't get to finish and you wanted to go back to finish. You didn't think you were
Yeah.
whatever. You just had your deeper rule, but you associate it and you tell people the right thing to say is, I just wanted to go back and finish because it's right to
Mhm.
have a degree.
But
But that's not the true
I would
intention.
have
Your
dreams.
true You had
Yeah,
dreams of it, but that didn't mean that you
I
needed to go
felt I
back
did.
because you needed to go.
Yeah, I got
But
it.
you know what I mean.
Not yeah,
I
I
just
got what you're saying.
yeah,
But okay, so
yeah. Because you was doing things without a
yeah,
degree
that's so
that
true. I did a
I don't even.
whole magazine
Yeah,
and all yeah,
yeah,
without any academic backing. That's true. And I think that's great. And that's why
exactly.
I love I can live in both worlds. You know, I can have academia behind me
Mhm,
or I cannot. So I've done both. True. So
mhm.
you
And I'm not
no
knocking
no. Well,
education.
how could you?
I'm
I
not.
mean, we believe in it, but yeah, I believe in entrepreneurship
Yeah.
because you have proven
Mhm.
how many years have you been your own boss? How many years has it been now? Three? Two? Three?
Uh,
Gosh,
two,
it seems so much longer.
two. Cause you remember I was working with
Oh,
Kayla's mom
yeah,
for a little
that's
bit.
true.
So
But still,
maybe even last year, because not even last year, nah. It was just because honestly, like I had to figure out a way to make things
mm,
work, you know? I had to, I still had to make sure I can do certain things, and I had to just, you gotta do, like I said earlier, you gotta do what
hmm
you gotta do. And that's
and you're
what I
very
had to do.
open to ideas that come to you and following through, even with your creativity when it comes to, if they don't know you're a YouTuber and your creativity that
Yeah.
you were posting what every day for Christmas, December,
Just
like
yeah,
Broadness.
Vlogmas.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
20 something days. Yeah,
25
and
days.
you did that every day, and I think what really brings comfort or brought comfort to help me switch over. I was on your side, but it really, I'm like, I'm really there. Is just seeing your work ethic. You really,
Mm,
you really buckle
thank you.
down, and you really put your mind to it. Like, Mom, I'm taping. Well, where you been, son? I'm taping. I'm tape. We're editing. I'm doing this. I'm taking pictures. We're doing. I mean, you. I don't think I ever. It's such a different guy from high school. To see a
Yeah,
guy to see this man that you can't keep up with, who,
yeah.
who's traveling with people are sponsoring him. You're handling contracts. You're on the phone with this person. You're
Yeah.
doing things. I'm like, who is this guy? Because this is not what,
I found
yeah.
my
But and
niche.
the thing is, and to encourage moms and dads who are listening, it's always been there. It just you had
Oh
to
yeah.
have room and space. Even like with Joelle, when we said in part one, it's giving that space to find out what works for you. And
And
yeah,
creating that space, not even
no,
giving
take
it.
you
I
took it.
created it.
Yeah,
I had to hit you and dad with a step back because y'all
a
was not giving
basketball
me
term.
space. Dad was coming ask Yeah, dad was coming and asking me every freaking week, once a week. Hey, how's
Mm,
school going? How's this? What about this?
oh,
What about that? And then trying to tell me you should try this, you should start doing this, come with me to this. I'm like, about to hit you with the step back, and then I was doing, I was doing, I don't know what I was doing that you were paying attention to, but anyways, I was just
hmm,
doing a lot, and I need to find a way to create that space, and the only way to do that was telling you guys I'm taking on my own,
I
you know
did.
what I mean, my
Hmm.
own get down. And Dad seen it. Dad seen it. I was grinding. I was like, when Kayla and I were just dating, we weren't living together. I was like, Dad, can Kayla come over? Can Kayla come over every single
Because you,
day? Cause it was like I told him, I was like, Dad, we trying to grind, we trying to grind. And obviously, you don't understand most of the time because you're not understanding what
hmm,
goes into it. But I mean, for those who are listening and do understand, like how it goes down with YouTube, it's like we had to produce that content, and like I think that's another reason why I was just like, this is something that gives me leverage. This is the reason why I can have Kayla come over too, because we working and my dad gonna let her stay late.
you was working it.
It was
Okay.
just like I was working it. I was like, she could be here however long because I'm telling we're editing right
You
now.
ain't slick. I got you. God bless your dad, because he don't play that. So God bless
Yeah,
your dad. Um,
he
he
cool.
is. So, what would you tell someone your age right now or younger of, give them some advice?
Um, um,
Hmm.
Advice. I mean, let's see. I just think do what makes you
Mm-hmm.
happy. Do what brings you peace. Because that's always the foundation. Happiness, peace. Money don't mean nothing. Don't do nothing for money. Don't ever do nothing for money. Always do it because you feel in your heart it's the right
Hmm.
thing to do.
Yeah,
That's that's my biggest
that's
motivation.
good.
Do things for happiness, for peace, because I think about it as there's so much money in the world, there's an abundance of money. So you making that decision just to sacrifice, you think, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do
Hmm.
that, just for money, you just gave up your peace. You always gotta make a sacrifice to get what you want.
Hmm.
You always gotta make a sacrifice. You gotta give up your time. Sometimes you gotta give up, sleep, you know,
Hmm.
something. So I think the biggest thing is just make sure you're giving it up for something that is an asset and not a liability.
Yeah. And
Give it up for something you see the
yeah.
investment in.
And that's where I believe that you really settled in when you stopped chasing, mm, you just really focused into you. You meaning your
Yeah.
craft, your talent, your
Mhm.
opportunity, your
Mhm.
dream. You really like buckled down. It wasn't about being like somebody or being like this. It's really when you focused on who's Justice and how can I bring
Mhm.
just how was the best way that I can do you in this world. And I believe
Mhm.
that's when it just
Mhm.
really clicked, is or keeps clicking,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
you keep evolving. You keep, as the word
Mhm.
is now, becoming. You keep finding out just how large your borders are of how you can impact
Yeah.
young men and young women, and just adults as well.
And
Hmm.
another thing,
No, no.
sorry. Um, I was just on top of what you were saying. I think it was like even just I told God, I think whatever, not even I think, I told him, I remember this. I was just talking to God. I was like, whatever I do, like every platform I get, I'm gonna use just to continue to push
Hmm.
you, continue to show everybody that needs you, how good you are, And I don't like I'm gonna just say this here for everybody that we used to go to church with or whatever, because they probably listening. Just because I don't please you, or you knew me from when I was younger, that don't mean you could put me on a scale of how much of a Christian, how godly
Hmm.
I am, of a person. That's not up to
Mm.
you.
All
That's
right.
not. And I'm gonna just say that because I think a lot of people that knew me when I was younger, they look at me different, like, oh, you changed, like, are you okay?
Mm.
And I'm perfectly fine. I just think it's like I think Christians can sometimes be so judgmental instead of being
Mm.
loving. I think that's one thing about me. No matter how or where I go, I'm always be loving
Hmm.
person. I'm always gonna care about others, no matter what you did. I'm gonna always care, and I think that's something that I just wanted to say on here because I know you got a lot of people that see me growing up and still see me, and they kids know about me,
Hmm.
and whatever. I just want that to be
Mm.
known that you have no room to judge me because I have no room to
No.
judge you.
Hmm.
And I think like we have to love one another and find ways to support one another. And I think that's the way of life,
Yeah,
supporting and loving through thick and thin. And as a mom, I know you could say that
it's
because
true.
that's all you could do with us at some points. You just can't even say nothing. We're gonna do what we're gonna do, but can you support us?
But yeah, just yeah, that's what you do. You know you're there.
And yeah, and I just think that's so
Yeah.
important, man. I
Well,
just
good point.
felt like I had to say that.
Especially, growing up in church, and yeah, it would I could see that. I think it happens with anybody in church, if someone does something different, or whatever they think, about tattoos, or being on social media.
Yeah,
Everybody has their
I got so many. I didn't even know. I probably told you the story, but man, you just like people that used to like see me when I was younger. I tell them I do YouTube. Oh my gosh, like they're like, really?
Mhm.
You're doing YouTube and you do this and now you're doing
Mhm.
this and that. I'm like, all right, like you really about to judge me right
Mm.
now.
Mm.
And you call, and it's like I'm not gonna start judging them for what they saying. I mean, like for their actions. I think more than anything, it's just like, do you notice what you're doing and how it's coming off as judgmental? Because you're not asking it in a kind, supportive way. So I just think that needed to be said because
Mhm.
you might have a birthday party and one of them might come, and I don't want them asking me, "Oh, you're doing this now? What about this?" Like I appreciate you, Uncle Billy, but
Church Uncle
I know
Billy.
exactly, yeah, I know where you coming from.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I would appreciate it if you support
Mm.
me because at the end of the day, the only opinion that matters is my family's and my fiance's, and I think that what you're saying, I'm going on
Y-
a
It's real
tirade,
for you.
but thank you. Yeah, it's real for me.
It's real for you. I know that, well, it's real. I think, like I said, it's not just you. I believe there's a lot of adults, just people. And yes, in church, we can find those who are very judgmental and very unhappy with their lives. And that's how I chalk it up, is, you got to keep living, you got to keep going, because, individually, we do stand before God, as we believe, and they're not going to be there to make or break us, right? So God is able
No,
to, we'll all handle it at the throne. Um, but that's so true, and I thank you for sharing that, because there's many listeners, my listeners as well, those who will share it with, young men too, are feeling that same way. I'm sure that pressure of performance, of being something that everybody wants you to be, or wish they could be, or wish their child could be. It's
yeah,
like you're the hope or whatever you are. um, but hey, it has been two, 3 years of this, of where we've sat down and had a conversation, but I no longer pay your car payment or your car insurance. So, you know,
I have let go of the,
yes,
what do you say? You not
the
should I
umbilical
say it?
cord.
No, should I say it? What you really say?
Yeah, I got you.
Can you hear me?
You're about to say, I know, you stop breastfeeding.
I won't say it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I
Just
wasn't
so
about
you
to
want to
say it
just
like
say
that
it.
though, cause
You want to say
I'm about to tell it how. Yeah,
it? Yes, you
I
did.
let go
Yes,
of
you
the titty.
did. And I am thankful for that.
Yeah,
But it's good because and to all the moms out there, whether married or single, divorced, however it is, one day they do grow up. And Justice at 23, you were 23 when you did it, just really untying
yeah,
himself financially from his parents and really take getting his car, nobody had to co-sign, at least on our end, and just really working on,
yeah.
yeah, working on his, well,
Nah,
working on your
nobody.
credit score. That was important to you. Where,
And it's good. It no, it was. I
well,
was never working on it. It was
yeah,
always good.
but
I just wanted to get it better, like you. Trying to get like you, the '80s. I mean the
I
800s.
worked on it though. I
Be
worked
like
on it.
you.
And that's why I say worked on. I worked on it, meaning I was mindful of how I handled my credit. And that was another
Yeah,
thing that I like to discuss with you guys is the money principle. It's not it is really watch what I do, and hopefully I want to do what I do in a way that gives you a clearer road. Don't have to pick my road, but as a single mom, my credit was not, when we first got divorced, my credit was it was bad. I couldn't get nothing. I couldn't even get an apartment.
what was it?
I think it was in the fives. I tell you, it was pretty bad. And to go to where I couldn't get an apartment, that
Oh,
I had to pay, like I paid almost 3 to 6 months in advance. I think it was maybe three, just to get in, because I would
ooh,
have to get a cosigner.
ooh.
Yeah,
To the
and
apartment
and
on
and I didn't
Mayflower.
want, and my
Oh, that's
dad, I just was
crazy.
tired. Everybody was helping me so much throughout, the 10, well, 14 years of marriage. Was so much help coming from family that you just kind of wear that thin, and it was time for me to to step up myself. So even as an adult, we have to step up and take
Yeah,
responsibility, and break the tie from always going to mom or dad. And my mom was passed at the time, but that was just real and hard. And I think that's why when I had to get your tennis shoes that time, I just cried. But we made it through. We made it through some things of just understanding.
hmm
Uh,
and I bought you so many. Not so many, but I bought you
yeah,
like
yeah. And
two
every
pairs of
time,
shoes
mom,
now.
go ahead.
Try. I try to tell you, that moment was like the most impactful moment. Just a lot of
Your
kids
mom
don't get to
cry
see
about some
that.
shoes? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like
Well, because I
it's
really
crazy.
wanted you to have them. It
Like
wasn't a
just for
basketball
shoes.
season coming or something. And I just was
Yeah.
frustrated. I just really wanted some help. And I
hmm
had to, I had
Yeah.
to do that I had to do by myself. And I really wanted some help, and I couldn't get it. It
Yeah.
wasn't, I think it wasn't even about the shoes. It was more like really hitting home of how much I had to put my big girl panties on and just own it and stop trying to look for help.
A
Yeah,
lot
and I
of single
kept
moms
trying to
got to.
force
And
things.
a lot of
Yeah,
single moms would,
yeah,
yeah, exactly. I was about to say that. A lot of single moms just like, oh, he'll do it. I think
yeah.
his dad will do it. His dad will do it. And
No, you
it's
want to
not gonna
force
be
it.
like that. And like you said, I just don't rely him. I remember you saying, I'm just not relying on him for nothing.
That's when my
And
life
then that's when your
like
life changed.
really escalated, because it did, because I was like,
Really
okay,
though.
it's me and you, God, which it should have been from the get go. But once I said, let's do this, it's me and
Yeah.
you. If you ain't got me, nobody has me. So, and I tell you, that's when the credit
Yeah.
score, that's when I could get cars. They were like, you can get three cars. I'm like, oh, okay, that made me feel so good, but we're not getting three cars. But, it's just, I
Yeah,
can
not
get you guys a
to.
car, and I had two cars, so I did have three cars. But, it is just seeing what God can do. And I hope you guys also saw what God can do because I would share with you. So when you see me crying about tennis shoes, now you see what's happening and it's totally different. You see a change and a pivot that took place.
Yeah.
But you
Hmm.
have truly, and you're such a good big brother to your sisters, even though she's older.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm the
you believe
oldest.
that. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
no,
but
I'm kidding. I'm not the oldest. She gonna
she
get
will
mad at
beat
me
you
and
up.
punch me or something.
But you're a good big brother to Jordan and a really good brother to your sister Joelle, and how you treat them and how, my birthday, you're taking you caught the bill and everything, and we did not go to some Taco Bell, and you just really have just, yeah.
But that's how it
Okay.
should be, you know. I think I'm just setting a bar, and I think, if I continue to set the bar, we ain't never going we
Mm,
ain't never gonna go lower than that. And low, and then whatever low is, it's like that's
mm-hmm,
still really, really good. I think I'm trying to show my siblings what
mm.
we're
No,
capable
wait.
of. And one thing I learned from you and dad is like my mindset just about certain things, like even just like, excuse me, money and stuff is just like you guys definitely. I think it's sometimes, I know you say like, it can be harder when you're by yourself. You were single, but I think my what I picked up is like just rely on faith and not, or rely on faith
Mm-hmm,
and not by what
mm-hmm.
I see. Rely on faith. Like I'm so serious about this. I've literally felt myself to where I
What?
am and where I'm still going. Like I'm already knowing
Mm,
where I'm gonna be,
that's
but
it.
I could feel it. I could feel it. I don't have to see it. I
Mm.
feel it, and then it'll come.
Do you feel that it
You know what
has?
I
I'm
mean?
sorry. I'm sorry.
So I think.
Do you feel that
Go ahead.
it is based on one, your faith, and then your routine? Because you do morning devotion, you spend time. Is that something that you feel plays a role, or is just something that helps
Mm,
you keep your mind right?
well, I just keep it simple. I think nowadays it's just the Bible. Yes, is cool. Devotionals, yes, are cool. They are great. They are great things to add, and a great asset to your life. But why not just keep it simple as God will supply
Mm,
all my
okay,
needs, and keep that. Keep that. Why do we need more and
it's
more
the
and more
foundation
and
right
more?
there.
Just keep the foundation. It's right there. It's like we want this. We're hungry, but we want the sauce. We want the side of fry. It's like we
Mhm.
got it. We got what we want. We just gotta know it's right there. And I think that's like my mindset nowadays is how can I eliminate all the extra and just keep it just
Yeah,
straightforward.
I like that. You're right. I think we do put a lot on it. It's like no all this extra stuff we add or we've been told that we need to do, but it's the
Yeah,
foundation. God supplies all my needs, and it's just
yeah,
tapping into that. Okay, like the
yeah,
birds and the flowers and the grass, they're not concerned about what's happening next. They know that the sun's going to come up and the sun's
yeah,
going to go down and the moon's going to come up and the moon's going to go down, and that's if that is
yeah,
happening, that's a
yeah.
promise already taking place. How much more is God going to supply everything that I need?
Exactly,
All right, well, in our
exactly.
closing here, son, Justice, Justus, you have always been one of justice.
What?
Is there anything you want to say in closing as we wrap this up? Can you believe we've been on here for almost an hour? Oh yeah, it feels like it to you. Okay.
Yeah. Nah, it's been
Okay.
like it feel like it's been like an
All
hour,
right.
but it's all
Yeah,
good.
well,
It's
in
good
closing,
content.
as we wrap this up in our part two of our Mother's Day series, is there any closing words you have for us? One of
Happy
you.
Mother's Day again. I love you, and thank you for having me on here. And yeah, I just hope that people are continuing to get something out of this, and they continue to get knowledge, and during this time that they're finding peace in your words, because I feel like your conversations can help people in their homes that with
Hmm.
kids that whatever. So I just hope that they're getting substance out of what you're saying, And they also notice the time that you're putting in because you didn't have to put this out. You know, you could have kept your gift to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
your gift or your talent to yourself, but instead you made it a gift by
Good
sharing it with
point.
others. So that's valuable, especially as a mother who, you know, this is a Mother's Day podcast. You're still giving content. You know, you're
Thank
still
you.
giving content. So, um, yeah, I'm really grateful for you. I love you. You mean the world to me. Um,
I love you
and
too.
yeah,
Thank you,
I love you.
son. Thank you. Thank you, listeners. And
You're
this is
welcome.
part two with Justice and his insight on me and life and being raised by me. And just, I hope that you'll find this as beneficial as I have, just having a conversation with him. But once again, this is Carla Michelle, and I am signing off until next time. See you soon.